Hello and welcome. Today in this video I'm going to give a quick overview of the abolitionist movement in the US prior to 1860. I will make later videos featuring more in-depth detail about the personalities and events which contributed to the anti-slavery movement at this time. Please hit the subscribe button now and do not miss future videos when they come out. Remember to comment, share and subscribe. With each video I make, I also add English subtitles to all videos, so please use the subtitle functionality on YouTube to gain more out of my videos. Using the subtitle functionality on YouTube is a great way to follow me talking in these videos, adding both to your understanding and enjoyment. So, let us begin. Who were the abolitionists prior to the Civil War? Number 1. A religious movement known as the Second Great Awakening swept the nation. This movement took hold, especially in New England and upstate New York. These abolitionists promoted Christian values and morals and believed blacks to be as valuable as whites. Churches were very much part of the abolitionist movement. Number 2. White abolitionists fell into two camps. One camp attacked slavery as a moral and political evil, demanding immediate emancipation and total social and political equality for blacks. No compromises and no compensation for the slaveholders. The other camp were gradualist in their approach, by emancipating enslaved people slowly and compensating the slaveholders. This approach was thought to minimize social and economic shocks to the nation. Number 3. It is worth noting that though many Northerners were opposed to the extension of slavery, many Northerners regarded those in favour to outright abolition as irritating fanatics. Number 4. The print media was used heavily in the anti-slavery cause, such as newspapers and books. William Lloyd Garrison started his weekly newspaper, The Liberator, in 1831. It was in print right up to 1865, campaigning for the abolition of slavery. Abolitionist and author Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote the very popular book Uncle Tom's Cabin and was published in 1852. This book reached a huge audience and helped to strengthen the abolitionist movement. Number 5. In 1837, William Lloyd Garrison helped found the American Anti-Slavery Society. Many of its members came from evangelical churches in New England and western New York. Garrison and his supporters were also in favour in rights for women. This created friction with more traditional abolitionists. Number 6. In 1835, the American Anti-Slavery Society used the postal system to send anti-slavery literature all over the nation, including the South. This caused so much anger in the South that postmasters were given permission by President Andrew Jackson to open and inspect mail and remove any offending material. Number 7. The abolitionists at this time in the US were a small and fringe minority. Though many Northerners opposed the expansion of more slave states, many Northerners were not comfortable with African American slaves being given full social and political equality with whites. Verbal and physical attacks did take place on abolitionists themselves. One such victim was Elijah Lovejoy, who was attacked by a pro-slavery mob and killed in November 1837. Lovejoy was a publisher of anti-slavery literature. The attack took place in Alton, Illinois. Number 8. Many African Americans themselves were campaigners for their own emancipation. Frederick Douglass wrote a number of books about his experience as a slave and believed in equality between all peoples. He also supported women's suffrage. Harriet Tubman freed herself from slavery and went on to free others, working on the Underground Railroad, leading many others out of the southern slave states. I will be making separate videos about these two African American abolitionists, detailing their work in greater depth. Number 9. One African American, Nat Turner, took to more extreme methods and turned to violence and started a slave rebellion in Virginia in 1831. This uprising lasted 2 days. John Brown was a white abolitionist who believed the only way to end slavery in the US was through a violent uprising. In 1859, he led a raid on an armory in Virginia. However, the raid failed and he was caught and tried for treason. Separate videos about the Nat Turner Rebellion and the John Brown raid will go into more detail about these two events. Number 10. One legal case that boosted the argument for abolition was the Dred Scott case. Basically, the decision reached in 1857 declared that blacks could never be citizens of the US and Congress had no right to halt the expansion of slavery in the territories. This decision fueled the anger of the anti-slavery movement and hardened the attitude of the anti-slavery cause. There will be separate videos made about the Dred Scott case of 1857. I do hope you enjoyed this very quick overview of the abolitionist movement in America and found it useful. Please comment, share and subscribe. I will be making separate videos about the events and personalities mentioned in this video. So hit that subscribe button now. Thank you for watching and hope to see you all very soon.